you a raise of hands who have came to our recent workshops on food or recipes. Anybody here? A couple people. Have you enjoyed the recipes? Have any of you tried them actually? Yes.
Thank you.
Almond bread all the time. Any other favorites from our previous recipe workshops? No other favorites yet? Okay, perfect. So what we're going to do, we're going to talk a little bit today about healthy summer recipes. I had a lot of fun with Dr. Anthony with creating some of these because especially with kids, it's helping them and incorporating fun things that taste really good. So for some of you at home that you're watching right now and you have families, we're going to give you some secret ingredients to add to make it taste good. Sound good? Mm-hmm. So let's jump right in. Number one, simple grilled chicken. And if any of you have a grill, most of you, I'm sure, yes, raise of hands, people who have grills in here. Okay. And for yourself, if you don't have a grill, okay, you can do this on the stovetop or in the oven. And it's really, really easy. The ingredients and how you're going to read the recipes here, we're going to talk about the ingredients and then how to do it, but you can always change this up a little bit. But what you'll need, organic chicken thighs or breasts. I like using organic chicken thighs because they're juicier, they have more fat in them, and a lot of times more beef. But you can get these organic thighs anywhere, really, wherever you're grocery shopping. I know we like to go to Costco, Whole Foods, even Trader Joe's, which is right across the street here. But you just want to look what's on sale. I can share with you a couple weeks ago at Whole Foods, right in the front, it says help your grilling, and they have all the meats out front. You don't even have to go to the meat section because they have everything out there for you. But also there's a marinade here which is delicious. Garlic, herbs, olive oil, and Celtic sea salt. Pretty simple. You can use this marinade. We're going to talk about other meats as we travel down here for anything. But if you have fresh herbs right now that you're growing, I encourage you to incorporate it in any way that you can. Whether it's a marinade, a dressing, but fresh herbs help your colon and your digestion. So some of you could have constipation or bloating or other challenges with colon function. I encourage you to increase your fresh herbs in your cooking. Especially if they're fresh, at the end you want to add them, which helps to bring out those oils. But with your chicken, you're going to put your marinade on your chicken prior to grilling. When I was looking at all these different recipes, some people say an hour, keep it in the marinade. Some people say 2 hours. I encourage you, whatever you like. We're going to keep it really easy. And then you're going to take your chicken, you're going to grill it evenly on both sides until it's fully cooked. That is very important. You want to make sure that chicken is cooked through the entire way. You don't want it to be pink. You do not want to see blood. Okay, that's really important. I've had some people that they've had some chicken and it wasn't properly cooked. It was at a restaurant and they had food poisoning, and then they come in and they're having diarrhea and constipation, all these different things. So just a note, if you're making chicken, cut into it and check it before you take it off the grill. Okay? But you're going to grill it both sides, and then when finished, use this on a fresh salad, or you can use it as your main option for kids. This is a great option for kids, chicken and vegetables, but something really basic and easy. But I really like doing this. Go for it, Dr.
You know what I would say is make a big batch of this because it's so versatile. This can be your protein for just about anything that you're making. So a lot of times what Dr. Casey and I like to do is we'll make a big batch of something at the beginning of the week and we'll incorporate it into several other dishes. But grilled chicken, super easy, simple, and that's what we're always about, super easy and simple. One of the things that I would definitely say, and it's not on here, but almost like a given, is Celtic sea salt. So anything that you're using, especially all of these recipes, you're going to see Celtic sea salt listed there, but you definitely want to use that. Celtic sea salt is super important this time of the year because of the minerals. So a lot of times what will end up happening, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, the humidity in northern Ohio changed. I don't know if you noticed. The humidity goes up and how you use minerals is different. So a great way to get minerals is Celtic sea salt. a great way to get them in your food is just putting them on what you're cooking. I would tell you this, a good thing with salt is to use it as a finisher. You're going to say, Dr. A, why do I want to use the salt as a finisher? If you salt it too early, it draws out the flavor and all the flavor's gone. So you want to make sure to salt at the end. A lot of times if you're doing a stew or a chili or a soup, you can put the salt in there as you're cooking it. But in terms of something like grilled chicken, if you salt too early, all of that yummy goodness and that flavor that's in there from the fat's going to get sucked out from the salt, and it ends up in the grill and not in your belly. So finish it with salt, and that'll definitely be a helpful tip. Next recipe, Dr. Casey.
This is really fun. Skewers. So you can choose organic beef, organic chicken, and also when we're working on all these recipes, if possible, fresh and organic is always best, because if it's not, it's sprayed with chemicals. Those chemicals impact your body, and why we're talking about healthy recipes in food today is because the fuel you put in your body, do you think that impacts your health?
Yeah.
Yes, so we want to put better fuel in your body to get a better outcome. But organic vegetables, organic proteins is really important so that you're not exposed to all those chemicals. But the skewers, have fun with this. So when you're in the grocery store, if you're cooking a meal, you're having people over, ask them, what do you like for protein? And what do you like for vegetables? If you have kids or a family, grandchildren, what do your children or grandchildren like to eat? Choose a couple vegetables together if you're in the grocery store, choose some meats. And what you can do is you can make little skewers of them. And with these skewers, you do want to soak those in water about 30 minutes prior. Does anyone know why?
They'll catch on fire.
They will catch on fire. Very well. Very well spoken.
You must have done that before
Okay.
now.
No.
We don't want them to
I read
catch
the
on fire. So you put the sticks in water and you soak them for at least 30 minutes, and then you can put your meats on them. As I was researching different ways to make skewers, one woman specifically, she said she keeps all of her vegetables together. So she'll do all the onions together, all the peppers together, and then all the chicken or all the beef together, and then she takes them all off and she'll put them in a salad with the vegetables and the meats, or you can go ahead and have it as your main protein. But as Dr. Anthony was sharing, you could take chicken and vegetables and use that if you were making anything really. As far as a protein, you could put some brown rice pasta, put some vegetables and meat in there. That would be another way that you could repurpose and reuse your grilled skewers. But you're gonna cook these, marinate the meat in your seasonings that you wish. On here I put olive oil and lemon or whatever you like. Of course, after you cook all your vegetables and your meats, what is the great thing to enhance them?
Yeah.
Celtic sea salt. We have some excellent students here today.
Can I give
So
you
you want to sprinkle that on there, which is a great way to incorporate it too.
a couple of my favorite vegetables to use in skewers? Mushrooms. I love mushrooms and skewers. Those are like what I'm looking for when I'm having that. Also, onions. I'll give you a couple of tidbits for onions. Sometimes it's hard if you have a bigger onion and you're cutting smaller pieces. So what I like to do is I'll get a shallot and I'll just stick a shallot all the way through, or a green onion, the bulb of it, so that you can get the full onion effect instead of some of the pieces.
I think you're making people hungry here.
I definitely find that's easy. You know what? I sometimes will like to do zucchini as well. You don't always think of that with skewers, but that's definitely good. This is an easy one to make a big batch of something, so it's easy to do ahead of time, especially for a summer party. Now this next one on here, I've done multiple times. I really enjoy this one because it's a little bit of a flavor enhancer. So this is a grilled romaine salad. And a lot of times people might not think about grilling their romaine, but it is delicious. So I'll give you a couple of tidbits on how to do this. When you do the romaine, if you get the head of romaine, cut it in half. If it's really big, you could cut it into fourths. I would do a little light dressing with olive oil on the side that's going to be going face down. And you want to put it on the grill, but this isn't like you're grilling meat. It's not like you're putting it on here for 5 minutes. You're just getting it so that it gets a little light sear on those romaine lettuce leaves. You don't want to burn it. I'm not looking for burnt lettuce. You just want to get a little bit of texture, a little bit of flavor, warm it up. Once you've done this, what I find is easy for me to do is I'll put the grilled pieces in a bowl. I'll take that bowl back in the house and I'll cut it up then, and then I'll add all of the fixings that are in here. Definitely something that's good, and because the romaine's warm at this point, you can serve warm, or you can chill it and have some of the flavor. I've served it lightly warm every time that I've done this recipe, and everybody is always gushing over how good the grilled romaine salad is. So if you've never done it, super easy. Would highly recommend doing this one, especially if you're having people over. I find that this is a good one to do if you have your proteins already done ahead of time, because this one's a little bit labor intensive right before you're going to be serving, so you want to have everything else done. But I find that it's really easy, especially if you have everything else done. A good thing on this one, I like, and I would definitely suggest, is the walnuts. And you're going to say, why, Dr. Anthony? When you grill the romaine, sometimes it can get a little bit soft. It's really important to balance that softness with some crunchiness. So that crunchiness is going to be some walnuts. It could be chopped walnuts. If you really are getting into it, you could do a little bit of light butter with the walnuts and then put that on the salad. You don't have to do that, but I find this salad definitely needs a crunch, and the walnuts are a great addition to that. I really love the diced cucumber, and I put half a cup of Romano cheese in there because, as you know, we are not cheese promoters. But every once in a while in the summer, you might add a little bit of Romano, and you're going to say, Dr. Anthony, why Romano and not Parmesan? That's a great question, Lily, and I'm glad you asked that. Romano comes from goat, whereas Parmesan comes from cow. So I would prefer you, if you're going to do it, use the Romano versus the Parmesan, because you're going to get it from a goat source. But that is really good, especially with the warm salad. Get a little bit of melty Romano in there with some walnuts. You're going to be on emerald this summer, so definitely encourage you to do that. Now, Dr. C, this is something that everybody can do and have fun with. What is it?
Lettuce wraps. Has anyone ever made lettuce wraps? So if you have this romaine and you're making a romaine salad, another way to incorporate some healthy proteins is get two heads of fresh romaine. In this one here is 1 red onion dice, 1 cup of olives, so that could be also a secret ingredient in your salads or what you're making. Olives add a great saltiness and flavor to it. Also, half a cup chopped carrots, 3 cloves minced garlic, 6 fresh basil leaves, and on here 2 pounds of ground beef, Celtic sea salt to taste. So you're going to get all your meat going. You're going to add your olive oil, your garlic, your onions. I like adding garlic and onions to almost everything because it adds flavor and it's wonderful for your digestion. So onions and garlic helping to boost the immune system, a great addition. Then you're going to cook until lightly brown. Place everything in the bowl, and then you're going to put the basil on top, and then you can make each individual lettuce wrap. Add a vinegar-based dressing to taste. I can share. Dr. Anthony and myself, we really enjoy Tessame's salad dressing. If you're in the grocery store, you go to the grocery where the dressings are in the cooler. Look for Tessame's. And we do talk about that as we travel down here a little bit, but that is something that you could use for a dressing. They have a great vinaigrette, or you could just use organic olive oil in your own, whether a rice vinegar or something like that. But that really adds that intensity that you're looking for to add with the flavor in the sauce. But I love lettuce wraps because if there's something left in the fridge, you figure it out, right? Has anyone ever watched Chopped before?
Oh, yeah.
I encourage you, have fun with that. Okay, what do we have? I have an onion, I have a garlic, I have some chicken. How can we use it? If you have a crock pot, I encourage you, if you don't really know what to do with the food that you have left over, put it all in your crock pot with whether beef broth or chicken broth, and create something fun with that.
What's really cool about this recipe too, especially in context of the summer, a lot of times every grilling party you go to, burgers and hot dogs. Lettuce wraps is a fun alternative to burgers and hot dogs. No bun necessary. So you can use the lettuce. The lettuce is your vessel. super easy. This is something too that you could prep ahead of time because you could always have the meat done and then you could always freeze it and be ready for it. So I'm always about practical, something super easy. Now, I actually like, and I encourage you to do all of this next one, is create your own salad dressing. You know, there's very few salad dressing brands that are actually have good ingredients. If you want to become ingredient detectives, look at salad dressings. Most of them are CRAP crap. One of the reasons why is because they've got things like soybean oil or canola oil or vegetable oil. So you really want to avoid those oils in terms of salad dressing. You want to be able to make your own, and you can definitely do a simple, easy one. Now, I came up with this, I shouldn't say, I did not come up with it, I borrowed it from somebody else, but a simple way to make any dressing is break it down into parts. 1 part vinegar, 3 parts olive oil, and then you add whatever herbs, whether they're fresh or dried, to taste. I would highly encourage this. Some of my favorite herbs to add to dressings that you make: marjoram, not margarine, like not the butter, marjoram, which is like Italian seasoning. I like that. I also like sumac. If you've never used sumac, it's good because it adds some acidity and it's got a cool flavor, so get some sumac. I really encourage you to do that. If you have a difficult time locating sumac, you could go to like a Middle Eastern place. They would definitely have it there. Galucci's has sumac, and the West Side Market, I think it's I forget the name, Urban Oasis or something like that is there. I've gotten sumac from there before. Highly recommend you to try that. You know, I really like rosemary. I find some dried rosemary is good, and I really like thyme and oregano in my salad dressings. Add Celtic sea salt, add pepper, super, super good. I almost will always have some type of salad dressing made in the summertime because it's just so good on just about everything. Would highly encourage you to do that. Play around with the different types of vinegars. Organic rice wine vinegar, apple cider vinegar. There's a lot of different vinegars. It'll change your flavor profile as you're making those vinaigrettes, but I think that you would really enjoy it, and I know it's a lot healthier for you than any of the junk that's out there. Yep, avocado, add that to there as well. You know, probably the one thing that I will tell you that's always the most difficult in the summertime is replacing ranch. You're going to say, Dr. Anthony, why are you replacing ranch? Well, have you ever looked at Hidden Valley Ranch lately? The stuff that's in there is appalling. I can't believe that they're allowed to sell that because it's just terrible for a human being, all the ingredients that are in there. I like a ranch dressing by Primal Kitchen. You can get it from Whole Foods. But it's very good. Their ranch dressing is probably the closest thing that I have found. They use coconut milk instead of a dairy product, so there's no dairy in it. But I would highly encourage you to check that one out. It's super good. Now this go for it. Primal Kitchen. Yep, by Primal Kitchen. I actually think it's on sale right now at Whole Foods. So if I go there tomorrow night and it's all gone, I know that everybody went there and they'll pick some up. It's okay. I do that. I'll do the same thing. Now this last one is one of my favorite recipes, and I know it's super easy for you to do. Now, you need to get a bottle of Tessemae's barbecue sauce. You can get it from Whole Foods. Now you're going to say, Dr. Anthony, barbecue sauce, talk to me about that. Dr. Casey and I both like barbecue sauce. There are no good barbecue sauces out there that don't have sugar. Tessemae's uses the sweetener that they use is dates. So at least it's not sugar.
It's not agave or honey.
And it's not agave. So this is the only recipe that I've definitely found that's like that. So you would want to use Tessemae's barbecue. Really, really good. You're going to want to get a container of that for this recipe. Now, I love short ribs. One of the reasons short ribs are so good is because they're nice and fatty. That fat's good for you. So I'll give you 2 different ways that you can make this. They're both really simple and really easy. The first way, you can go turn your grill on nice and hot, sear your short ribs, then put your seared short ribs in a crock pot, let them go for a couple of hours, and about the last hour, then add the Tessemae's barbecue sauce to the ribs, make sure that it gets nice and warm. I think that I have some things like onions and garlic that you can also put in the crock pot as well. And then you can just serve the short ribs out of the crock pot. Another way that you can do this recipe is we're gonna do it in reverse. Crock pot the short ribs without the dressing, and then finish them and sear them on the grill, and then just put the dressing, the barbecue sauce on the short ribs. I had this recently, oh my gosh. It was like so good. I was like, when is the next time that I can get short ribs? I would highly encourage you to do that. Now, let me give you, this are like Dr. Casey and I's golden secrets. So these next ones are gonna be some of the places we like to go to get stuff. And I would highly encourage you to check these places out. There's so many good places that you can go to that you can get a lot of good stuff. Dr. Casey mentioned Costco. You can get a lot of great organic stuff from Costco. You can also get a lot of great organic stuff from Trader Joe's. You can also get a lot of great organic stuff from Heinen's. One of my favorite places to go is Earth Fare. Earth Fare is always having deals. If you've never been to Earth Fare, you should definitely go. About 3 weeks ago, they were having a deal on organic grass-fed beef, ground. It was $3.99 a pound. I bought like 6 packages and I put it in the freezer, so you definitely want to go there and check it out. Would highly encourage you. Now, another cool place that might have some more specialty cuts of meat, but I would really encourage you to check them out, is a place in Ohio City called Ohio City Provisions. They do grass-fed meats and they also have produce there. But a lot of times I'll get some really cool cuts from there, and they're relatively inexpensive. One of my favorite things that I've got from them in the last couple of months is a beef neck roast. So it's super good. It's an inexpensive cut. It's like $4 a pound for grass-fed organic beef. And then you can turn it into a roast. So you can get about a 4-pound neck roast for about $12. Highly encourage you to check it out. I think that that's a great place to go to get some good items. What's cool from them too is they have cool things like some grass-fed beef salami. So if you're looking for an alternative that's going to be healthier, I would definitely encourage you to check them out. There's a place in the West Side Market called the Basketeria. They have great vegetables that are organic that you could go to. Mustard Seed Market in Akron and Fairlawn is also another great place that has a lot of good stuff. Would highly encourage you to check those places out.
Crocker Park. Also,
Yes.
Crocker Park, the summer farmers market has started. So Saturday mornings, if you are around from about 9 until 1 p.m., they have the farmers market outside in front of Dick's Sporting Goods. But our favorite farmer is Al, and his stand is Al the Farmer. And he has the most beautiful arugula. He has so many different vegetables depending on what's in season, but he does not spray the vegetables. They're all organic. A great price, but I know that arugula, that is my favorite.
So just to give you an example, about 3 weeks ago, I got some parsnips from Al at the farmer's market, and I peeled the parsnips and I diced them up, and I put them in a pan with some butter and Celtic sea salt. Heaven. So a lot of times that's just all you need to do is get some fresh vegetables, cut it up, saute it, add a little Celtic sea salt, and
butter.
life is good.
Yes.
Super easy. Question. So I would definitely discourage agave. That's a great question. Agave is just like high fructose corn syrup. So it actually raises sugar more than high fructose corn syrup. So really the only sweetener that I would recommend anybody do is stevia, because it gets its sweetness from the oil that's in the leaf versus a sugar molecule like agave. I would use stevia.
Organic stevia.
Because
You can get
dates
the
are still
liquid.
going to be fruit. So you could get a liquid stevia and you could add a couple of drops of that for a sweetener. Go for it, Mary.
Like coconut palm sugar.
You know, it's still going to be a sugar, so you should have came to our sugar half hour to hell, because that all of those are all still sugar molecules. So if you're looking for a substitute, maybe like brown rice syrup, but I would definitely say stevia.
Where did you get your short ribs?
Where did I get my short ribs? I get them from a variety of locations. I've gotten short ribs from Whole Foods, Earth Fare. There's a place in West Side Market called Foster's. They'll do grass-fed short ribs. I've got them from Ohio City Provisions. I've got them from Heinen's. So they're around. You definitely want to look at them. A lot of times when they're on special, I always get a bunch and I'll put them in the freezer. So just going to touch base with some of the things that we have going on in the next month and some of our specials this month. We don't have any on the shelf right now because we put up our special and everybody got it, so those should be here the next time you're here. Calcium and flax. This time of the year when the sun comes out, not today, but every other day here in northern Ohio, the sun affects your skin. So when the sun hits your skin, it needs calcium. So you supply with calcium, which is why we have people do CAMGs on. In order to get the calcium to the skin, you need flax oil. Flax oil works as a transporter. So if you're in the sun, you definitely want to use calcium and flax oil on a regular basis. I had a laborer in last night. He's a landscaper. And he goes, tell me about this sun stuff, because I'm in the sun all the time. It's like, you just need to do it, and it'll really help you. So it'll be excellent. Dr. C, talk to us about Complete Care Spray.
Complete Care Spray, which I see a blue bottle right here. If you look over here, it is a spray, and what's in it is zinc, iodine, and other essential minerals for sunburn prevention. But also what I love about this spray, it helps if you have bug bites, cuts. You can spray it before you go in the sunshine for sunburn prevention. You can spray it on a burn if you have a sunburn. Babies, excellent for rashes or any type really of anything. Think of it as an all-purpose spray.
Poison ivy.
Poison ivy, sunburn, itching, scratching, acne, all these different things. But you can do this. I do this every time before I go out bike riding. Spritz. And even if you have a bite or something like that, but it helps for healing.
You know, a lot of
It's a great
times
thing to have.
people ask us about sunscreen. You can use Complete Care Spray for that.
Mm-hmm.
If you need more intense protection, at Whole Foods, Earth Fare, Mustard Seed, I would recommend a brand called Badger, and I would get their kids one because it has the least amount of chemicals in it in terms of a sunscreen. So if you're looking for something more intense, I would definitely recommend that. So now, along the lines with food's super important. A lot of people have food sensitivities. We do an electronic assessment in the office to see if your body has sensitivities to food. Because we're talking about food this month, we're going to do it as a special. It's normally $75. It's on special for $50. So if that's something that you guys would be interested in, you could definitely talk to my team. They'd be happy to schedule it. For those that haven't had breast thermography returns at the end of next month, at the end of July, beginning of August. It's a super really good service. We've seen it really helped a lot of ladies with it. If you haven't done it, definitely recommend it. Now, the half hour to health next month, we want to make a comment because of how the 4th of July falls. 4th of July is on a Wednesday, so that means our half hour to health will be the week after the 4th of July. So I believe that's July 11th at noon and the 12th at 6. It's going to be on improving brain health. Super important. Everybody's got a brain. You want to work on improving how brain is communicating with the body. We're going to talk about simple, easy things that you can do to help improve your brain health. So did everybody learn at least one thing today that they're going to apply when it comes to food?
I want everyone right now, this is your action step. Circle what recipe you're going to make. Okay? You said all of them. Just circle one recipe you're going to make, and then next time I'm giving you a little timeline before you